Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to KLSR 71 Stealth Jazz, your host, Toshio. Tonight, I am surrounded by sleeping family, baby Joshi to my right, my wife just aft of that, and my middle child, Chonky, passed out on the couch, wrapped in a fuzzy blankie, Brooklyn asleep in a fortress made of teddy bears that she built for herself because of course she would. Why would she not have a final project for the night? And that's why I'm being smooth tonight if I can. And my mouth is just a little bit too close enough to the mic that you can hear all of my smacking, breathing, and wheezing as I enjoy the dad bod that nature intended for me to have. And speaking of bullies with a dad bod, welcome to the Brooklyn class USS whatever the hell this overpowered premium is. And why do I say overpowered premium? Because like most of the premium ships in War Thunder, this is the regular tech tree variant at the same battle rating, with premium benefits and extra AA armament, making it one of the strongest anti-aircraft platforms in the game, let alone in naval forces. America has a light cruiser that is an AA cruiser, and it is just an absolute monstrosity. The thing is a meme machine. It has no armor, it has low survivability, but it has like a 4-second reload rate and somewhere to the tune of 14 5-inch cannons pointing at either side of the ship. So it's an absolute, it's basically like 3 Fletchers duct taped together. And it is an absolute delight. Even stock, just using regular HE and forgetting about the fact that one day you will be king of the skies, it gets the kills. You can absolutely melt destroyers, and the amount of module damage you can quickly accrue on an enemy cruiser is absolutely meme-tastic. If people don't, look at you. But it's naval. There's a big ballpark to play around with, and those are some of the things you can do. And by the way, we're talking about naval today. We are going to get one replay in because I've been dying to share some of these incredible replays that you guys have been sending me. I know I say this a lot, but I've been just like absolutely exhausted this week, and I'm not complaining. Like, I'm investing my energy, I'm juicing up in the morning and squeezing it out all day, and it is just it's really cool to be growing tiny people into reasonable adults with a good chance of success. And just, I have the coolest kids. But oh my gosh, it takes a lot of energy to not murder them. They were pretty rough on me today. The little girl, she's kind of a sweetie, but she's also taken to just like screaming when she's not happy with what's going on, and she's a reactor. She always has a visible emotional reaction to everything, and it's usually good. It's frickin' adorable to watch her go, "Yay, Daddy!" But it's equally horrifying and terrible when she's disappointed. And she doesn't do it out of malice. It's just her nature. She is a reactor, and I fully embrace that. The world has need of sensitive people, and her big sister, the old Brooklyn class herself, is, as her namesake in naval forces, an absolute force to be reckoned with, just like you see on display here. And yes, that is the game lagging out, by the way. Gaijin servers, not the most stable at the best of times, and in naval, at their worst. That's the real reason Naval EC has ceased to exist. It is the brokenest of game modes in terms of server client stability, and it shows, apparently. I'm kind of new to these waters. I've been tracking naval forces and playing a little bit ever since closed beta. I bought myself a, the PT 109, and it's a neat little treasure that I have. And the Anchor 3D decal is worth the entire trip. But it's been a while since I dipped my toes in these waters, and other than the very obvious and glaring stability issues when it comes to the connections, Naval Forces is looking nice. The aiming mode makes a lot of sense. This is my first time playing with the shell trackers on, and it is just absolutely delightful. It doesn't break up the flow of the gameplay. It has that look here mechanic going for it that I talked about in my War Thunder 3 design video. Or was it War Thunder 2? I think it was War Thunder 2 back then. But War Thunder 2 is with us now. So what did we get? Well, we've got at least one of those look here mechanics that I was talking about. And what else did I want to say? It is a lot more fun to play Naval Forces with these big boats than I thought. I've seen people talking about how battleships are just indestructible and uncounterable, and that's why Naval is dying, and I'm like, I've been here from the start, man. Naval's always been dead. But, this is a beautiful game mode, by the way. If I can get some stable FPS, then I could show it off for you even better. But my settings with regard to, I think, shadows, I had to turn the shadows quality down to minimum to get 60 FPS. And even then, it was hitting 55 every now and then, along with all the packet loss and lag spikes. It's not the most optimized experience in War Thunder, and yet, in terms of all the interactions that are going on, I mean, think about the ridiculous amount of secondary and anti-aircraft battery fire that's going on, along with the complex shell interactions. These ships are massive floating hotels of information that not even Zuckerberg can track. And, yeah, that's right. Player torpedo beats, people. One of the things that I'm looking forward to at some point in the future of Naval is torpedoes not being able to be set off when they hit you at an extreme angle. So, a very shallow angle, I should say. Goodbye, Sumner. I expect you to die. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. I expect you to die as we dodge more torpedoes. This is not War Thunder, I tell you. This is more exciting than a Tank RB match. And honestly, I was surprised to see the number of human players that are in these naval battles. A lot of them, I've noticed, are on console. And it's great that War Thunder has extended out to consoles, if nothing else, to build the naval crowd. And dear holy hodgepodge of American burger toppings, that's a lot of torpedoes. And wiggle the booty, swiggity swooty, and we're on our way. And we're very, very much boned by this point in terms of our first spawn, and I did jump you guys into this one in medias res, and I'm not gonna lie, this was my most exciting match in Naval Forces, as well as I think my most profitable one in terms of kills, and yet I've just been consistently having a good time. It's really relaxing. You generally don't get surprised by anything. You have a lot of time to plan out what you're going to do until things get like this, and then it's a matter of picking priority targets. You can see the time to kill for these naval vessels can be pretty extreme, and the Brooklyn class, as we hear whistling bombs coming down to our doom. 8 kills? I'll take it. I will very much accept that turn of events, sir. But where was I going with this? The Brooklyn class really is a heavy cruiser in everything except for name. It has better armor than other heavy cruisers in the American line. It has equal or better armament, and it's a big rig. But London Naval Treaty said we couldn't have all that many heavy cruisers, so we disguised some of them as light cruisers. And the snail is just like, that Gulrad, we know this. And that was that. What a nice match. And all of that is to say, I've been having even more fun in Naval than I thought I would. I say that every single time. I don't know why I don't play more of the game mode. And now that the rest of War Thunder has terrible connection issues, I might as well play Naval. Anyway, I've actually been playing a lot of Kenshi lately, just the past couple of days. That's a game that I got into quite a bit back in the day, and you can find some of those videos on my channel. It's just one of those games where it's very harsh and yet fair, and there's a huge amount of room for growth in terms of like your power and influence over the world, over your environment, over the troubles that will travail you. And yet, let's talk about HEATSEEKR today. He is in the Scorpion. The what are these? F-89s, I think. The F-89AB, I think this one is. This is the good one. It has an people talk about the rockets, but they don't know about the rockets. Okay, Fly, he talked about the rockets, but he don't know about the rockets. What I'm saying is, it's easy to pick on this thing's ridiculously expensive big brother in the form of the F-89D that has the heat proximity radar fuse rockets, and they would seem absolutely overpowered, and they were back when they were one-shotting things, but you need to volley fire them. They're set way off in the wings, literally at the tips, because that makes sense. I think it's a matter of this being a long-range interceptor or something, and you have to volley fire them. They're absolutely unreliable. You can't guarantee a kill, but if you throw enough radar fuse heat rockets at the wall, something is going to hit a stud. And yet, less is said about this Scorpion. And they are exactly the same airplane, more or less, except for their armament. And I know that there's a difference in engine power between the two, but the F-89B actually has the better performance, and that comes down to the... Dear God, the spray of these things. It comes down to the fact that it is significantly lighter and has significantly less drag in the fuel pods in its wings, and not the fuel pod rocket pods that take up so much space that you end up just having to push too hard to make speed. I mean, the thing still accelerates like crazy when it has the rockets on the wings, but you feel that weight, and you will carry that weight with you. And all of that is to say, this is the best F-89, this is the better of the two premium jets. Honestly, I think one of these could have been a regular tech tree vehicle. It was a fairly well-produced aircraft, and I don't see any reason why the Cannon version couldn't be a regular tech tree vehicle, with the rocket version being the premium, but Gaijin knows what they're doing, and then new people like me would buy both of them, and you know what? They're both a lot of fun. But if you're only looking at getting one, what is this, a rank 5 premium jet? I can't remember if it's I think it's a rank 5. Then this is the one for you. I mean, if you're only getting one, you have to get this one, because you have to buy both to get the Rockets one. But if you're anything other than an insane collector like me, I would just recommend this one. It's better in all ways than its rocket-bearing cousin, or brother, I should say, and it's just about, if not more effective against even somewhat heavily armored ground targets, on account of the absolutely insane amount of penetration its cannons get against things like roof armor, and the fire rate is absolutely immense. The ammo count is somewhat generous, although he'll spray through that very rapidly. And look at these. You don't hold back, don't be shy, spray and let the enemy pray, because they will be meeting the one true deity soon. They're gonna find out what the afterlife is like. And it's just an absolute beast. And of course, it's just as good at ground strike in air RB as it is in ground, as we see there. And HEATSEEKR keeping his speed up the way you want to do. Now, one thing that I've probably told you every single time when I talk about the F-89 is this thing is an absolute condor. It feels like a clown car in the air. It's such a strange mix of incredible power and incredibly just sluggish, fat bastard performance that truly speaks to the American in me. It has absolutely insane acceleration both on the deck and at high altitude. It performs in terms of energy output fantastically. It burns through energy ridiculously fast when you're maneuvering, and it flails around like a drunken schoolmarm in all situations when you want the dang thing to maneuver. And air braking against an ME-262, this is the Narwhal, and there's not much he can do there. A little bit of a replay glitch there, as obviously HEATSEEKR was firing and we didn't get to see or hear that final burst. And yet, Asian server censorship aside, we can tell that he had a good time picking up 6 kills in his first flyout, returning back to base. That's what that horribly edited clip was meant to show you. And going for some ground attack, a quick 4 kills in one pass, not bad at all, showing off the lethality of the cannons on this thing. And it really is a fantastic aircraft. One thing that I really intended to mention from the start and just got kind of sidetracked with regard to is that this thing will rip its wings in a straight line on the deck. This thing will easily snap its wingtips in a roll or a sharp maneuver at high speed. It is an extremely unforgiving aircraft. You have to babysit this thing constantly. But because of its absolute aces S-tier armament that is, again, capable both in air-to-air and air-to-ground. In the highest sense, it is the first of the BERT jets that you can really get behind, and it sits at a very competitive battle rating. This is one of those aircraft that, both in terms of premium rewards and in terms of premium gameplay experience really pays off to dedicate yourself to, and it has been from the start. People complained about how overpowering this vehicle was. I don't think its performance is actually as good as all that on the whole, considering how many people stumble over the stumbling block that is the very awkward handling. It's fairly consistent, but it just does not respond as quickly as you want it to, and again, burns energy quickly. This is one of those jets that can easily become a victim or a statistic, crashing and burning in the hands of an inexperienced or unskilled pilot. And that goes for pretty much every aircraft in the game, but it's especially noticeable in this one. But take my word for it, if you camp on this thing and you fly it out all the time, you're gonna have a good time. And again, excuse me, I was sitting on my legs, and now my legs are all dead and tingly. You're gonna face 80, 87 jets, and they're gonna mop the floor with you. But every single jet in the game experiences deadly up tiers. Imagine the poor bastards 6-7s facing this thing like that narwhal. Yeah, not a lot you can do. You just gotta take your opportunities where you can. But as a premium, this thing pays, and I have absolutely loved using this in close air support in my 8.0 USA lineup. I have some older kill compilations that feature this a number of times, and those guys are not so busy in those higher tiers. And one of the things when it comes to mixed battles is this thing is absolutely ass at maneuvering against props, but I mean, by that point, you really don't have to. This thing is so dang fast. Your main enemy is air resistance, because again, your wings will fly right off. So, an interesting aircraft in War Thunder sort of shows America's absolute dominance in early jet design. It was not long before America was churning out some absolutely ridiculous powerhouses because we had the budget to do stupid stuff like this. And then of course it's obsolete in 2 years. But man, Wizang sure had a good time with it, I'll tell you that. That would be Wisconsin Air National Guard, just so you know. America, one of the things that we did in the 40s, 50s, and probably forever, is we take our most boring and least happening states, and we fill them up with nuclear missile silos. So, there you go. That's just one of the other things that it means to be an American. Don't ask about the crop circles. They're government property. Excuse me. But, I guess that's pretty much all I had to say tonight. It was nice to make a little bit longer of a video. Again, it's super late. I'm super tired. I've been sitting in my house for pretty much an entire month doing absolutely nothing other than slowly going stir crazy and insane as my kids have decided that, you know, the less happy they are with their environment, the more that they're going to count on me to just fix everything. And you know, a man can only do so much. But it's been an experience for us all, I dare say. And it's nice to have you guys around and to share life with you, even if it's just on the internet. That seems like that's what we do these days. And I guess I just kind of sound like an old man now. But another thing to note about this aircraft is it definitely does have a good pull at higher speeds, so you can lean on that elevator to get yourself on target, but it starts to lock up in terms of rudder authority, and at higher speeds all your control surfaces start getting more and more sluggish. If I was the Seahawk in this situation, I would definitely try to start maneuvering. I'm not sure why that enemy is not. Is he low on fuel? What's he doing here? He must have been running out of fuel, because that is just... What? 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 He turned off his... Oh yeah, I guess the enemy is absolutely out of fuel, because I don't even hear his engine at this point. So I don't know what's going on, but HEATSEEKR's having a little bit of a good time with it. And picking up 23 in the space that it took me to collect my thoughts. He's already gotten enough ground kills to make your average attacker happy. And again, this is a premium airplane, so he's gonna have a nice big fat lump of RP and SL waiting for him at the end of this match. And I guess all I can say is well done and GG. He played this plane very much to its strengths. He didn't commit unless he had a good opportunity, and then he could just sit on the air brake and hover behind enemy jets, knowing that he has plenty of energy capability to put himself wherever he wants to be if he's in a one-on-one situation. So nicely done, and harvesting that 7th kill against a Seahawk that I suspect was out of fuel. This was fairly late on in the match, as you can see, and the enemy Seahawk probably hadn't gone back to base. So look at that beautiful bird to end things off, and I hope you had a great night. It's time for me to get some sleep. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.